Okay guys, welcome back. Welcome. Amazing to have you all here. This is an Academy exclusive live stream. We're coming to you live from the studio. Today we're here with Philip. Philip, what's happening?
Hey guys, very welcome here, and we're happy to be here with you as always, every month doing these streams. We love doing these. We have got plenty of questions and we're gonna get into all of it. So thank you for submitting your questions, by the way.
Amazing. Well,
let us know if the sound is okay. We always struggle with the microphones here when we're two people talking because none of us are sound engineers.
Because this studio is built for one guy, not for two guys, okay? Now we're two here. We see Mad, we see The War Sex, we see Robert Child, Tommy Cooksey, Robert K. Everyone, welcome to the stream. So do we have the link to the spreadsheet if people want to add more questions?
Yeah.
Should we post that?
I can post.
So guys, as you know, we have the spreadsheet. I will show you.
But you can ask questions.
Okay guys, sound is back. Yeah. So we had some sound issues. No sound, as always. Welcome to the channel, as always. I told you when the sound was off that you could either go to this form that Philip posted in the chat and submit more questions, or you can ask questions here in the in the chat. So it's up to you. We'll be looking at both. Okay, now let's get into the first question. The first question of the day.
All right. Hi, Ivan. Please explain how multi-consensus algos, e.g. hybrid proof of work / proof of stake, or multi-algo mining, i.e. Digibyte, comes to consensus without forking. Thank you.
So it's all about the protocol. It's all about what your protocol supports. And this is actually becoming more and more popular, and you will soon see big coins like Ethereum doing this. So if you look at how Ethereum right now is working, it is proof of work. So all miners are using the same consensus algorithm. Now, with Casper FFG, which is the Casper that is developed by Vitalik, they will switch to a hybrid solution where both proof of work and proof of stake will be used at the same time. But this is also the division in Ethereum right now and in the coming years and months, because you also have Vlad, who is another engineer, also very influential within the Ethereum community. He wants to go 100% to proof of stake, and so he has another flavor of Casper algorithm called Casper CBC. But to get back to your question about hybrid consensus, it's all about what your protocol defines. I mean, a protocol can be both with proof of work and then proof of stake. You can say, for example, 100 blocks would do proof of work, then the next block is going to be proof of stake, and all your nodes will follow those instructions that are defined in your protocol. So it's not about that you have to choose only one. Really, Bitcoin has only one, Ethereum right now has only one. Ethereum will switch to two, but it's all about how you program your nodes.
And then and as Simon said, it can depend on the specific protocol. And I don't really know how Digibyte specifically works, but you can configure it in different ways so that you could have, for example, you could have that miners mine blocks, for example, and when they find the proof of work solution, they send that blocks so that the network like propagate. But then you also need votes. So you might need votes from certain staking nodes or certain master nodes that need to put their vote on your block as well. So you have to do proof of work, and then some other nodes has to do proof of stake. There are many different variants, but the goal of doing any sort of configuration like that is to actually get the benefits of both. You want to get perhaps the security benefits of proof of work, and you want to speed it up by implementing some proof of stake. So you want to try to get the best of both worlds by doing such a hybrid.
And also with the case of, for example, Digibyte, one of the reasons why they have several consensus algorithms is to prevent ASICs for Digibyte, because they try to add as many as possible, but so it still makes sense. So therefore, you need to be looking at what kind of reasoning they have. In the case of Ethereum, I think the reasoning is mostly that they do not want to do this large upgrade in one go. They want to take it slowly. So therefore, they're introducing proof of work and proof of stake. The thing with Ethereum also is that they need to be backwards compatible. All applications that are right now running on Ethereum, they need to work in the future as well. So that is how I think Vitalik is reasoning about his hybrid solution.
Another thing that you could see as a benefit if you have this proof of stake, proof of work hybrid is that it might be even more secure if you have that every block needs to be approved by a proof of stake node as well, because you could have as a requirement for actually getting the right to vote in a proof of stake system. Let's say you need to have 100 Bitcoin and you need to hold 100 Bitcoin for a year to get a vote. I'm just taking an example. It might be way too much, but you can actually implement requirements that is so hard for any hacker to just in the moment fulfill and hack the network. With proof of work, as long as you have the mining resources, you could take over the network any second. But if you have a proof of stake system combined with that, where you actually need to acquire coins and you need to be a long-term participant in the network, then you can actually extend the security beyond proof of work as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
I saw a question in the chat. People have been talking about proof of work, proof of stake for a long time. When will we see the change? And I made a video about this next Ethereum update. It was a while back, but they're rolling out Ethereum, what do you call it, 3.0? 2.0.
Well, right now it's 2.0, but at the same time you also have Casper Labs doing their own version of Ethereum. So really, in the future, you will have 3 different Ethereums. You will have Ethereum Proof of Work, maybe because miners will still support that, and maybe miners don't want to go to either Casper FFG nor Casper CBC, and Vitalik will do Casper FFG, and Vlad with Casper Labs maybe will do Casper CBC. So in the near future, you might actually have 3 different versions. So that is why people are talking sometimes about Ethereum 3.0, but Ethereum 2.0 is what we're really talking about.
Yeah, I forgot the details now because it was a while back I made the video, but when I made it, I outlined the different stages that they're deploying Ethereum 2.0 in. So I think there were 3 stages that they're deploying this in, and they have already done the first stage, and now they're actually on track with the other stages as well. I saw a tweet about that the other day. So it does take time, because to actually migrate Ethereum, which is one of the largest decentralized computer networks that the world has ever seen, to migrate that and make such a huge change is really is difficult. And I applaud these geniuses that work with this every single day and programs these network and really try to migrate Ethereum to proof of stake, because that system that they are building is complex. It's really complex.
Also, good question from Tommy Cooksey in the chat, asking, is it safe to say that the biggest difference between FFG and CBC is the adoption metric? I think the biggest difference is the fact that CBC will not be hybrid and FFG will be a hybrid. And FFG is, by the way, mostly proof of work. As far as I understand it, and as far as I've read it, they will have 100 blocks proof of work, and then they will have a proof of stake element. So proof of stake will be slowly integrated. While Casper Labs together with Vlad really trying to make it faster. And they try to say that, hey, it is a friendly competition, but I don't know, guys, because it is blockchain. It is a limited amount of capital and resources we have here and developers. So by just releasing a new chain, you kind of create a competition. But at the same time, long term, we're all moving towards the same goal. Long term, I think we're all contributing to the same industry with research, with new ideas, new ways to do different things. But short term, it is a competition, in my view. All right, let's take the next one from the Excel.
Yes. Do you think the user experience, graphical user interface, informs how coding is written? I.e., Apple apps' ease of use and presentation. Crypto dApps are designed to be the most non-user friendly. Do you agree? Well, I don't think people necessarily design them to be non-user friendly. There is a part of that, since a lot of people in crypto are computer geeks, so they don't really care and don't have the feeling for designing nice looking apps and nice graphical interfaces. But there's also this difficult notion in crypto where we always have to appeal to the nerdy audience. We always have to appeal to the people that care so much about decentralization. And then as soon as you have a decentralized app that is truly decentralized, not like semi-decentralized, where you have a truly decentralized application, then you need to handle keys. Then you need to have
users need to do it.
Yeah, users need
themselves.
To handle the keys.
Yes.
I can't do them for them. So it doesn't matter how well the user interface is, even though, of course, we have progressed when it comes to MetaMask and so on. But you can't right now escape the fact that you need to have the users to handle their keys, and that eliminates a huge portion of the normal users. But I also think that a part of it is the fact that the people that are in crypto are the nerdiest the nerdiest ones that don't need a nice user interface.
But the question is bigger than just hiring a designer that will fix all the issues. Because at the end of the day, as we just discussed, you need to handle your keys. You need to understand that if you lose it, there is no recovery. It's just nature of crypto. So by designing something that looks nice, it is not completely a solution. Some protocols like EOS, they try to solve it on a protocol layer where if you lose your key, there is a possibility to restore it, for example. So you need to really be thinking about it is a deeper problem. It is a problem that have been here, by the way, for ages. This is why the internet is so centralized, because we could have built it decentralized long ago as well with, for example, everyone having their private key when you log into a website, but instead you have passwords and usernames. But technically, why couldn't we just use public keys and private keys from day one when we're accessing the internet? Because that technology was there all along. Bitcoin did not invent private public key technology. It is just so hard to use, but with crypto, you really have a case where it doesn't really make sense to use crypto without those elements. So maybe it will be the case that the crypto world will be centralized. I mean, just like the internet is centralized, maybe the exchanges will remain centralized as they are today, but you have always a choice. That's the thing, you have always a choice to go to your own keys. So the UI question is very complex. It's not only about hiring a designer and paying them to do a nice UI.
Yeah, and then also if we're actually here in the long run, the next generation of crypto kids or crypto people,
yes.
They wouldn't have any problem handling their private keys if we actually teach them from an early stage what crypto is and what the benefits are and why you actually need these keys. If no one explains to people why do we have all of these keys, why is it necessary, and we don't explain the benefits of doing that instead of having your coins on an exchange, if we do that, I think that we could have a next generation of crypto people that actually understands how they should handle their keys and won't be scared off by that. Because in every step, in terms of technological skill, that improves for every generation that uses the internet and uses computers. I mean, our grandmas now can use a smartphone. Who would have thought that? And I mean, this will continue to progress. Our generation is the most tech-savvy generation ever.
But it's also very easy to use technology. So our generation, for example, cannot use command line. Who knows how to use the command line, right?
Well, that's true.
So maybe we will have biometric private keys. I don't know. Maybe
it will be a sharper divide between people that are skilled with the command line. I mean, and people that is not. But hopefully we don't need to use the command line.
Let us know what you think, guys. Let us know what you think.
There's no right or wrong answer.
Yeah, we're just speculating. Yeah. We're just discussing the future. And it is fun, but also there are no rights or wrong. Okay, next questions about Bitcoin security.
Yes, 51% attack. Bitcoin security of 51% attack, security of Trezor, and do I need Trezor after I have 24
Okay, so guys, so if you have a 51% attack happening and you have really someone taking over the network, maybe they have 80% of the hash power, they can censor transactions because they will mine most of the blocks and they choose which transactions go into those blocks. They can do that if someone has full control over the network. So your Trezor will not really save you because your Trezor only stores the keys. So Trezor is completely useless against a 51% attack if it happens, because the 51% attack happens on a protocol level, and they really change what is getting put into the blockchain. Now, with 51% of the hash power, you cannot really go back and change things. I mean, it's still very, very difficult. You would need much more in order to do that. But what you could do is, for example, censor transactions. So if you think that Trezor will help you with anything in regards to 51% attack, I think you need to study more how Bitcoin works. Because the only thing Trezor does is storing your keys. And these keys can move your coins on the blockchain. But if someone, for example, reorganizes the blockchain, they really changed something in the past because they have so much hash power, they can remine all blocks, then the blockchain will show different balances, and your keys will only be able to spend those balances that the blockchain is storing. So if someone is able to do that, your Trezor will not help you at all.
Yeah, but your Trezor or a hardware wallet in general also helps you with the actual signing process of your transaction. It keeps all of the handling of your keys. When you sign a transaction, it keeps all of that in its own hardware circuitry, so that your keys, even though you have them on paper, off your computer, whenever you're going to spend your Bitcoins on maybe a wallet on your computer, then you input your private key into your computer, and who knows what's going to happen then. And all of that signing and so on takes place on your computer instead, if you have a hardware wallet, on the actual hardware wallet, which is more secure.
Yes, sir. Next question. When moon?
That is the best question.
That's the
of
best
today.
question.
But we're already almost halfway to moon.
We're exactly. And if you live in Argentina, you are already on the moon.
Yes.
This is something that I was actually going to talk about today. But you realize that Bitcoin in Argentinian pesos, it is already at all-time high because they have inflated so much. So it depends on which country you are in. Some people are already on the moon, enjoying themselves.
Yeah, and I mean that is something that you forget when you're talking about currency, is that you always have this. You always trade them in pairs.
Yes.
So the value will always be relative to where you live, and we always use the US dollar comparison, of course. But who knows what's going to happen when, if global inflation kicks in and we get an inflation in larger currencies, then automatically Bitcoin will go to moon. It's a fact.
It's a fact.
But
all fiat goes to zero.
That is true. And when all fiat goes to zeros, Bitcoin goes to infinity.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, what is pegged coin? Do you want to take that? What is pegged coin?
Yeah, so a pegged coin is a coin which value is fixed to some other asset. Usually we talk about a coin that is pegged to the US dollar. So that means that the value of a coin has been fixed so that the coin or token is always worth, for example, $1. And you can accomplish that in multiple ways, because it's not easy to you can't just go out to the market and say, hey, my token is going to be worth $1, and you cannot trade it for any other value, because people are going to trade for whatever value that the market thinks it's valued at. So then you have to, if you're going to peg it to the US dollar, if you're going to peg it to gold, whatever you want to peg it to, then usually you need to have a backing of that coin. So if you're going to peg your coin so that one coin is always equal to, let's say, $1, then you should have, if you want to have a stable peg, then you should always have the same amount of dollars in your bank that corresponds to the amount of coins that you have minted, you have created, so that your the purchasers of that coin, they need to be certain that you have the dollars in the bank, and so that you can actually redeem your coin for the real dollar. That is how you achieve a peg that people trust, because trust is vital to providing a stable coin, at least when it is centralized, where there's a company that says, hey, here is our stable coin, we back this with dollars. Then what's going to determine if that coin is worth $1 or $0.9 or 0.8, 0.5, whatever, is, do you trust that issuer of that token to actually be able to provide you with the dollar value for each token? And that is what has happened with different stable coins over time. They have lost their value. They have gone up and down because the trust in those institutions is diminishing, where people don't really believe that, for example, Tether has all the money that they promise in the bank. But that may be a bit too deep of an analysis, but a pegged coin, a coin which value is pegged to a certain asset, the value is fixed to a certain other underlying asset, and you can achieve that in many different ways.
Just left a review on your new site. Nice, Jonathan. So guys, for all of you who don't know, we just launched a new site called exchangeratings.com. So go to exchangeratings.com. You can basically review exchanges. So if you have any issue with an exchange, you can go there. Okay, next question. What is the difference? What is the difference between a submarine and atomic swap? So atomic swaps, what they do is that you can, without any intermediaries, in a completely decentralized way, you can transfer one coin to another. So if you want to exchange, you have Litecoin, I have Bitcoin, we can do an atomic swap. You get my Bitcoin, I get your Litecoin at a predetermined rate that we determine together. So that is atomic swap. Now, with a submarine swap, you can basically take value from Bitcoin main chain and you can put it on the Lightning Network. And this is, by the way, something I talk about in one of my videos. So just try to search Ivan take submarine swap, you will find it. I think that is what you need to search. But basically, you can take something that is on chain, and then without closing a channel or opening a new channel, you can put funds into an already existing Lightning channel. So that is a submarine swap. And for more detail, just search on my channel, you will find it. Because there is a mechanism involved in which we can still, without any intermediaries that are trusted, without any trusted intermediaries, we can achieve this. Yes, sir.
All right, it would be great if you could do a review of the Casa node in depth in terms of setting up, operating, as well as philosophy. Haven't you thought about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I thought you had a Casa node.
I don't. I
Okay,
don't. That is on the bucket list.
Oh,
that
yeah,
is still
on the bucket list. Yeah. If Casa is watching this, even though this is private, send us a Casa node.
Send us a Casa. Yeah.
All right, Ivan. Will the $1 bonus courses come back? Thank you. Well, not in the near future. The $1 bonuses is something that we do sometimes. You know, we did it for Christmas, we did it for Easter, in order to really share what we think is so incredibly valuable in the academy to people that don't believe us, so that they can can check it out for $1, because we're so confident in what we offer. So if they want to check it out for $1, they can do so. But that is always for new customers. And if you are in this chat, then you are not a new customer, because you got the link, which is exclusive for Ivan on Tech Academy students. So then you already have checked out all of our content, and if you like it, you can stay. If you don't like it, you don't have to, but they come back when they come back.
Yes, so $1 is just that we have some promotion sometimes for 1 month that people can try, and that's basically it. And we don't want to do them too often. Please cover the next, or when will the deadline for signing up? Is there a deadline for this?
I think it already expired. Because that was a webinar deal, I think.
True,
yeah.
True. Please cover the next instance like Elastos or Sentivate. What are they good for? Will they succeed? Does their token make... Yeah, so I think this is a bigger topic for a whole video, but all in all, interest is changing forever, and whether it will be changing with Elastos and projects like Sentivate and Elastos, or whether we will just be building smart contracts on Ethereum and EOS and other platforms, that is up to the market to decide yet. But
I think there is a deeper question there, which is the interaction with Bitcoin and Ethereum is still done over the internet.
Right.
So how are we going to handle that infrastructure? Let's say if the internet gets censored, or if Bitcoin and Ethereum transactions get censored, do we need a big satellite out in space?
Right. We need Blockstream satellite.
Yes.
That is actually pretty cool what they're doing right now, because now no country can fall out of sync. Because countries can actually block regions. So like, for example, Russia, they can block all the Russia from the rest of the internet. And so what happens then is that Russia and Bitcoin network will fall out of sync. But as soon as only one person in Russia has access to a satellite dish, they can sync the blockchain from space. You have syncage all over the world.
Yeah.
So thanks so much for the suggestion. It is a topic for a bigger video.
But then I think as well, what's interesting to mention, and we talk about this some in the Bitcoin programming course, is that Bitcoin is so easy to distribute. You can distribute it over any medium. It's not native to the internet. The currency might be native to the internet, people say that. But the distribution and the sending of transactions can be sent over paper, over donkeys running across the globe, satellites, whatever you want, because the only thing that you're sending is a stream of bytes, of ones and zeros. And there's no sensitive information in that, because you're only sending a signatured, a signed transaction. You're not sending anything that's sensitive, like a credit card. So you can send it over Skype, over Messenger, over paper, over birds, whatever you want to send it, smoke signals. It doesn't matter. As long as you get your byte stream to someone who's running a Bitcoin node, then you can actually spend your Bitcoin.
Yes, sir. Okay, what happens to Bitcoin network when there is not enough incentive? Cost of mining too high. So you realize that mining is a market. So when the cost of mining is too high, many miners will stop mining and the difficulty will go down. I think the big question is what will happen when the block reward goes to zero, which it also will do with time. What if the market shrinks so much that we don't have enough security in the network? So that is the big question, but it is still very, very far away. And some people are speculating, hey, maybe we will have infinite supply in Bitcoin because they're gonna change it. I think there are definitely gonna be debates, talks, there will be forks that will be doing that. But all in all, it's so difficult to talk about it because it's so sensitive. I mean, if you tell someone that we're gonna inflate the supply...
Then you're risking, scaring away so many people from this community, because if there's only fighting, then people won't take this seriously. But it is a good question that we will need to talk about, because when the incentive drops, as you say, miners will drop off, and the security,
the hash rate of the network.
Yeah, the hash rate will go down, even though it will be easier to mine. But that means, of course, the hash rate will go down, which makes the Bitcoin network less secure. And that, together with that the Bitcoin network grows in value, would not be a good thing. But hopefully, the price of Bitcoin will go up at the same rate like the difficulty or
That
the
the
block reward goes down, the same amount Bitcoin needs to go up in order to sustain the same amount of security.
Right, but at the end of the day, it's going to be zero. So at that day, you will need to have transaction fees that support the miners and the incentives. But all in all, Bitcoin network will never stop. That's the thing. If you think that the Bitcoin network will stop because people do not have any money to mine, it will not happen because the difficulty will decrease. But the question is, if difficulty is decreasing, people are still mining, but it's so weak proof of work, what will happen to the Bitcoin network then? So that is the big question.
Yeah. How can you try to alter/modify the blockchain? How would you do that? What happens if the blockchain rejects your modification? Well, you can go ahead and propagate any block you want to the actual blockchain. What will happen if you propagate a block, for example, that is too old, or you propagate a block that contains invalid transactions, is just that the other node that you're propagating them to will just throw away your block. And that happens, accidentally. If you have a Bitcoin node all the time, you can see that your Bitcoin node throws away blocks all the time because you get blocks that are too old, that have been that are stale blocks, for example. So that happens normally all the time. But if you were to try to alter the blockchain, you would need to have it would be a 51% attack. You would need to have so much hash power that you can produce blocks faster than the rest of the network that are doing it in a legitimate way.
Exactly.
Anything to add?
So it's all about reminding the blockchain, and that is difficult because the difficulty is high. So just reminding the blockchain is a very basically impossible task. But not only do you need to do that, you also need to mine fast enough to catch up to the existing blockchain that is legit, and then be faster than that and get ahead of that, because nodes will accept the longest blockchain. So if you're able to change a block, remine all the blocks up to the current block, and then also get ahead of all the other miners, then you can do it.
Yes, and you're not banned in any way. It's just a decentralized network. There's no one that can ban you. If I, for example, have a Bitcoin node and I see that every hour I get tons of invalid blocks from this one node, I could, of course, stop. I could ban all the traffic coming from that node if I want to, but I don't think there's anything automatic in the Bitcoin protocol that bans, certain IPs or so on. But you could do that manually, definitely.
Yes. Okay, next question.
What are the next few courses that you are planning on producing? Well, you can tell them about the one.
Yeah, so one that is coming is gonna. So the one releasing in a bit over a week is gonna be blockchain fundamentals, but 2019 edition. You know that our first blockchain fundamentals course was created in 2017. So we have a lot of work to do updating that and adding a lot of content that is new and relevant to 2019. Because in that course we talk, for example, about ICOs. Because at that time ICOs were amazing. Yeah. Like, it was so exciting. Everyone wants to do an ICO, so we discussed a lot about what it is.
And we also talked about Lightning Network and Segwit in a way that they were completely new, and Lightning was just an idea. So it's going to be a lot more about Segwit and Lightning and all of the other stuff that we've been seeing in Ethereum, with the new Ethereum version coming out and all of that stuff. So it's not only an update to the old course. We're going to add so much more of what has become relevant in blockchain and in crypto since 2017, when that very first course to the Academy was created.
Yes. And really, it's a very legendary course because it started the whole academy. It was very fun to do. You look at that blockchain fundamentals course, it's huge. And we talk about how Bitcoin works, blockchain works, Ethereum works, how EVM works, how a smart contract executes. There's so much stuff there. But also a lot of it is getting out of date. So we will do that this month. We will create a blockchain fundamentals 2019 edition. After that, we'll probably do engine course, basically a continuation on our game programming course. But we will be using Engine, and we will be using Unity in that, because one of our most popular courses is actually the game programming course. I see, by the way, Fabrice in the chat. So Fabrice has done a lot in the game programming course, I know, and he liked it a lot. And this is the feedback we had from all of our students. They love the gaming course. So we're gonna do Engine, and then we'll see. I mean, we'll do one course per month, but we don't have everything planned. Let us know if you have suggestions.
Yeah, we want your suggestions. I mean, we're only doing the courses that you guys want. I mean, that's everything that we care about. So we listen to your suggestions, and then we take the most popular ones. But then sort of the updated content. We always update contents. I've updated the smart contract programming course, I don't know, 3-4 times now because of Ethereum and EOS progress so fast. Nice emojis there,
Ivan.
But then I wonder what cryptid means when it says please mark the new content. We always shoot emails out. Whenever we release a new course, you should get an email. So that was good. But yeah, fundamentals course update, or actually a completely new fundamentals course and an engine course coming after that.
Yes.
And then we don't know. So send in your suggestions. You can email support@ivan.academy, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Here we have a suggestion. Course on mining, not ASICs. So you actually have been mining since 2000. You've been an early Bitcoin miner.
Yeah, I was.
But like a hobby miner.
Yeah, but I stopped obviously a long time ago. But I mined in 2010, 2011. But then I stopped. It wasn't really that profitable anymore, and I lost interest in crypto. But
But did you have Mt. Gox? Were you? On?
Yeah, I had coins on Mt. Gox.
So you see, Philip is a Mt. Gox veteran.
Yep. And
people use it as some badge of honor. They show you emails from Mt. Gox from 2011.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. That I don't have access to that email anymore. I have tons of that kind of stuff because I was looking for that. I mean, I think it was a year ago when I was really doing a lot of work to try to find my old emails with because the exchanges back in the days, they were horrible, and the wallets that I used were also completely totally bad. But I couldn't really find any of these old documents. I thought it would be so much fun to dig up these old emails and receipts and all of that account details, but I can't get access to that email. I had a really old email, a Gmail account that I impossible to gain access to. So all of that is lost in history. But course on mining, is that something that we could do? I don't know what we would go through. I mean, it would be how to mine, but for most people, it's not valuable to mine. It's not efficient.
Actually, there is a small section, I think, in blockchain fundamentals about mining, how to calculate whether it is profitable or not. But all in all, the thing with mining courses also is that they get outdated very quickly because mining hardware changes a lot, and the way you mined just a few years ago is very different to now. But we will keep it in mind. If we think that, hey, let's do a mining course, we'll do it. We'll keep it in mind. Okay. Do you want to read the next question about Adam Back?
Adam Back recently said in an interview with Peter that a reorg of the Bitcoin blockchain is possible, as miners can choose the software they will use. A government coordinated attack, for example, could make this happen. The only way to avoid it is by equipping the ASIC machines with a code that makes it impossible, like a ratchet. What is your point of view? Well, first of all, yes, a Bitcoin reorg is always possible because it's always the majority that decides what's going to happen. It's decentralized. I mean, there's no one that decides about the reorg. It's all about the network deciding. So if the Bitcoin miners want to do a reorg, yep, they can do a reorg. That's all that it means. But then probably the value of Bitcoin is going to crash. It's going to completely dump if they reorganize the chain, because the entire value proposition behind Bitcoin is that you can't reorganize it. It's immutable. So if they try to do that, they will lose all of their money. They will lose their business. So I don't think they would do that. The second question here was a government coordinated attack. What do you think about that? Is that the best way to take down Bitcoin, by
governments going to big miners?
No, I mean them mining empty blocks, for example.
No, not possible. They have to print a lot of money to do that. They will inflate their currencies too much. But at the same time, you could do it in much easier way where you actually profit. So the thing is, you can do so much with the Bitcoin markets as they are today. It is so easy to drop prices back and forth. So I think the government would really, if I was the government, I would try to profit from it. Maybe either by mining and contributing, or by manipulating, going 100x on BitMEX and crash the price. And in that sense, it doesn't really make sense to do that. Now, if somebody really wants to do it, well, maybe they could buy a lot of mining hardware, have more than 51%, mine empty blocks, but it seems so complicated. There are way easier things to do. You can, for example, say, hey, we're banning Bitcoin, everyone will go to jail if you even speak about Bitcoin, if they really want to do it. They can say, hey, if you possess Bitcoin, it's illegal. But technically, is it possible to ban Bitcoin? No. because still somewhere in the world someone will be mining. It is possible to send Bitcoin with paper, with a text message, because it is just a protocol, a language, really a language that computers speak. You can write it on any medium you want. So, you know, practically, maybe it is possible to exclude the country by making it legal and making it very difficult to handle crypto. Technically, not really possible.
All right. I think
Yes,
that was
sir.
the answer to that. This is a long question. I think I'm going to summarize it. I think the next step in blockchain will be other use cases like official voting with live stats, online IDs, government tax management, music, art, video rights systems, etc. Blockchain could even make governments obsolete. What's your take on this matter? What would it take for the world to adapt? That is a large vision you have there, for sure. And it's interesting, but it's also incredibly difficult to work with official voting, for example, in government, because everything is, first of all, is public on a blockchain, and how would you actually distribute the keys? That is the difficult part. If you distribute the keys to your citizens, then you could find out how they voted, for example. So it's really, really difficult. And in some ways, you know, I like the idea in theory. I will see if someone comes up with an actual system that does that in a secure way, where they actually can prove it to do it in a secure way. But there's something about all of these, you know, matters when it comes to privacy and government, where it's so nice just to write your vote on a paper ballot and put it in a box. I mean, a part of me thinks that...
But how can you trust that they counted your vote?
I mean, I can't trust that they counted my vote, but they also at least they can't see what I voted on with those paper ballots, because my name is not on the ballot.
Yes.
But with a blockchain and with the actual connection to my key, it's always very difficult to...
I think it's possible. Like zero knowledge proofs could solve it somehow. That you can still verify that everything is correct. You verify that your vote was counted. Because right now it's a black box. I have no idea if my vote was counted. Maybe they threw it away. That doesn't feel good.
Yeah, but then would it be a private blockchain? So the government controls it?
No, it's gonna be...
It's gonna be public?
Yeah.
And then we have,
exactly.
you know, some other government interfering, and they're gonna mine all of the blocks and...
Could be.
But I like the idea in theory.
Yeah, I get the issue. Yeah.
I understand the idea in theory, and I like it. I mean, we have so much interesting, especially I think the next step would be more when it comes to business, to run decentralized businesses, to have like Maker does when they have these board meetings, for example, with all of their Maker owners.
Yes.
And they sit and they do votes online and all of that stuff. That's really, really cool. But with democracy, that kind of stuff, I have to take it slow. But I mean, we can do so many interesting things with voting and with decentralized organizations overall.
And by the way, it will take like 5 generations. I mean, when we're talking about Bitcoin replacing governments, it needs to change in people's minds, first of all, because right now, people want government. Like maybe if you're a libertarian, you don't want government, but most people in this world, they want a government, they want to pay tax. And that is why, by the way, privacy coins, in my personal view, will have a hard time adopting. Now, people don't like banks. That is something that everyone is agreeing on. You ask anyone on the street, they don't like banks. So that is why I think crypto will be successful as a whole, because the large majority of people in this world, they do not like banks. So they will jump on board if they see an opportunity that makes their life easier, where they feel that the finance is getting more fair, and so on and so forth. But right now, the general consensus on, for example, taxes or government is that, hey, it's actually pretty scary with technology. And really, people are getting scared about AI, automatization. So maybe in 5 generations it is possible. Like technically, maybe it's possible, but it will not happen for a long time, I think.
Yeah. All right. The experts say store your coins on a node. I have the Casa now, but they say on their website that it is safer to store them in a hardware wallet. So when is a node a node?
I don't know.
I'm not sure who says that you're going to store them on a node. What I've heard, I run a Bitcoin node, and no one is recommending you to store your actual keys on that node. You should store it offline.
I know we heard it, bro. It sounds fishy.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that expert.
Yeah, don't store it there.
Okay, guys, I have to go to the bathroom. 1 minute. Maybe Philip can entertain you here.
Oh, wow. I'm not used to entertaining people live. Ivan is the entertainer. But luckily, I have questions. So while Ivan is at the bathroom, I can go ahead and take the questions. So, where were we? Could you add some info to Bitcoin 101 on Bitcoin keys management, BIP32, public driver access to private key signing? Yes, definitely. If we do an update in the future to that course, which we probably will do, we could definitely add in some info about BIP32, definitely. 2, could you add examples of how one can sign transactions without Bitcoin CLI. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that is really complex. Then you're getting into to deep cryptography. So maybe that is for another course. Maybe we can add it. We'll see. It's not something that's in the pipeline. So I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh yeah, it's going to come. It is that is pretty complex stuff, and no one really. Few people have the can actually get use out of being able to sign a transaction manually without the tools. Usually, I always say this in the courses when we do programming, that kind of stuff. Don't reinvent the wheel. Never reinvent the wheel. You should use the tools that you have at hand. So that is my philosophy. But obviously, if you want to know, the real deep dive of cryptography, we could possibly have a course about that in the future. All right. Ivan Philip, I would like to know how to use Bitcoin on an everyday basis. In the USA, every time someone uses Bitcoin to purchase something, there's a tax consequence. This is a lot to keep track of. You have always advised us to pay our taxes. That is right. You should always pay your taxes, very important. And we are not these people that tell you to use crypto to evade taxes.
And by the way, there are so many anarchists. They tell you, hey, don't pay taxes, taxation is death, but when you are in trouble, those guys will not help you. You're like the last guy they care about. So just, I think it's interesting because so many people are like, hey, I've been to Anarchapulco, this anarchistic conference. I'm so pumped, I'm so excited, I'm not paying any taxes, but these Anarchapulco guys, they give zero ducks about you, and you are responsible at the end of the day. So if you don't want to pay taxes, you're libertarian, go somewhere where there is zero tax. There are many countries like islands where there is zero.
Yeah.
So
you need a porta potty.
What is that?
That is one of these blue, bathroom kind of things in plastic that you have on festivals.
Oh,
stuff.
you can move. Okay.
Yeah, you can have that here. And now we actually have official proof that Ivan is actually wearing pants when he's streaming.
Yes,
he is not naked underneath.
Insane.
All right. But yeah, we're gonna answer the question of the Bitcoin on an everyday basis.
So it's
the same in Sweden, and neither me or Ivan use Bitcoin on an everyday basis. And I am, at least where we are right now in Bitcoin, and especially when it comes to the taxation field, we're not in the right time where Bitcoin is a payment method. I mean, no one takes Bitcoin as in Sweden as a mode of payment. I can't go to a store here and someone will accept Bitcoin. It's very, very, very rare, and Bitcoin appreciates. So for me, I own Bitcoin and I store my Bitcoin, and it has been making great returns for years. So I don't know why I would like to spend it, because I mean, certainly for some transactions, it's very nice to have a transaction that can be censored, or with Lightning Network, a transaction that is incredibly cheap for small payments, and where you can basically stream money over the internet. That is really, really cool. But when I buy my coffee or my food or whatever, when I buy on eBay, on AliExpress, no one is trying to censor me from buying that. If I get to a point where the government is telling me what I can and cannot buy, then perhaps Bitcoin has a role as a mode of payment. But I don't have the need for that right now. So for me, I also fight the taxation rules.
Right.
I don't like the taxation rules here. I wish they would realize that it's a currency rather than an asset and tax it that way.
But it's a double-edged sword as well, because the good thing that it is not a currency is that there's no regulation about crypto. Like, look at Binance, crypto to crypto, very few rules they need to follow. The rules are increasing, but one of the good things when crypto is not ranked in the same way as euro, dollars, and fiat currencies, it is the fact that you have so much less responsibility as, for example, a crypto business.
But I still have to pay. I mean, if I trade crypto to crypto, I still have to pay the same taxes.
Right. Yeah. So you as a user is bad for the user, but it's good for the companies. Because companies, they have everything in place. Like, they need to do all the small rules they need to. So in one sense, it is accelerating the business side. But at the end of the day, we need world adoption.
But I don't think it does that in the long term, because long term, I think you need regulation in order to build a large user base. A lot of users. You can't have these rogue exchanges that just can do whatever they want. But I mean, I get your point.
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna go and get some more water.
Okay.
Now you have to entertain.
Now it's my turn, guys. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Which site do you find most useful if interested in blockchain top addresses and wallets, their coin movements, suggestion to whom? Okay, so just go, there are many sites, like just Google rich list. You will find a lot of them. You can, for example, go to coin.dance. There are such features there. But all in all, what you need to be looking is rich list. And also on Twitter, I would recommend Whale Alert. So there is actually a Twitter account that only tracks what kind of movements you see of big funds, of big transactions. So Whale Alert, keep that in mind. And the reason why it is interesting to people is because you realize that if you see a large transaction going to an exchange, it can be a dump, it can be some kind of trading going on. So therefore people have all of these tools built up. But all in all, Google rich list, like Bitcoin rich list, Litecoin rich list. You can go to coin.dance, or you can go to Whale Alert on Twitter. Okay, next one. How to return a great salesperson like Roger Ver to advocate for Bitcoin instead for BCH. Well, I don't know if it's possible at the end of the day. But also, like, I think Roger Ver, he is sincere in many ways. Like, if you look at his fight for, what is this guy? Ross from Silk Road. He's doing all of these updates, writing letters to Ross, and really showing his commitment to the libertarian move and really his true core beliefs. So in that sense, I think he is convinced about what he believes in, and it seems very sincere to me. Maybe he truly believes that BCH is the answer. I don't know. I don't think it's possible to convert him. He has too much invested in BCH.
Yeah, his stake is too big. I think more on a personal level than money-wise. I mean, he could always go back to BTC on an economical, point of view, and then the price would crash afterwards. But his entire persona is so invested in BCH that I think he's going to stay there and for a long time. But I agree with you that I think Roger Ver is a sincere person. I don't think that everything that people say about him is correct.
Because we met him. We actually met him. Yes. We ate dinner with him one time.
And he's a very nice guy. And as you say, he's a good salesperson.
Yeah.
And he's a good salesperson because he believes what he's saying. He is selling from an ideological point of view. He really believes in what he's talking about. And then he's decided to go to BCH. I think that's sad. I think it's sad for the environment. And sometimes I don't think he is I don't think he's an honest debater at all times. But many good people can be dishonest in debate. That happens all the time. So I like Roger as a person as well. I don't think he's coming back to BCH.
But also we have to realize that if you would be smart, you wouldn't support one side of the war this significantly. I mean, you would be somewhere in between because you don't know who's gonna win. So you realize that with Roger, he really put all of his eggs in BCH. And not only do you see Bitcoin versus BCH, you also see BSV and everything that is happening there. So I think if he would be smart and if he really wanted to maximize his long-term potential in the space, he would not take one side. So that is why I think he is actually convinced that BCH is better. Now, do we agree? We don't agree. Okay, let's move. So we already mentioned UI thing, and as an example, Nimic. I haven't used Nimic. Philip has it here. Looks like a nice UI, but all in all, you go back 20-30 minutes, and we discussed about UI a lot in the stream already, and the issues with UI. Let's see. Thank you for scheduling live stream so that people in the US can watch it and don't need to get up at night. We discussed it. We always do the streams so that US people can watch.
I think we mostly do them in this time frame. But I would like to hear from some more people where we are from. Is there any better time that we can do this stream to get more people on the stream? I mean, is there a sort of a golden time where it's the best time zone both for Asia and for the US, something like that? But I don't think that exists. But
I think this is the best time because it works for the US mostly. Like 9 hours is California, like 9 hours back. So they should be almost awake.
Yeah.
And then Asia is maybe 9 hours ahead.
Yeah. So it's difficult, but we do our best.
Yes.
We have been talking about proof of stake for a long time. When we see the change, I think we already answered that.
Yeah.
Hard to say, but people are working on it. It's coming.
Yeah. So Casper Labs is releasing Casper CBC blockchain, which is an Ethereum clone basically, but with Casper CBC this year. I met them at Consensus in New York. They say it's going to be released this year. Now it's going to be its own blockchain. It's not going to be Ethereum. Ethereum is releasing Casper FFG maybe this year. Who knows really? There's never a clear date with these guys.
All right. Thank you for your service. Have you gotten a chance to look at Matic and a second layer solution.
Yeah, I met Matic. I met Matic in New York as well. And hey, they're one of these IEOs that have performed extremely well in the past weeks and months. So it's interesting as layer 2 solution, absolutely. Now, regarding the token price, we have no idea. Congratulations if you were in the IEO, it definitely increased a lot. But at the same time, you need to realize that it's not always all about fundamentals. A lot is about the market maker. For example, do they have good connections? Like I discussed it actually yesterday. I think the importance of market makers. So. Right now in crypto, it's not a lot about fundamentals, really. There are all kinds of different coins increasing a lot due to the founders having good connections with market makers, and they're able to support the price, and they're able to do all kinds of things with the price that might be, by the way, being illegal in normal markets, like in normal stock markets. But in crypto, it's freer. So all in all, absolutely interesting, and we will have to follow it.
Yep. How will good products be measured in cryptocurrencies if things like fiat currencies become less popular? Everyone has an idea of what $1 or $100 can buy, but not as much for 0. Blah 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 Bitcoin. Okay, so how will we measure price when fiat currencies are gone? Well, I don't know if fiat currencies are going to be gone, or if it's just the fact that they're going to inflate and people will become poorer and poorer if they hold on to fiat currencies. I think that the road to actually labeling something in the price of crypto is a long way ahead. Maybe, I mean, right now we have the store of value is pretty good. Bitcoin has been developing well as store of value. Then the question is, can we move if people want to means of payment? Then, I mean, just after that is where actual unit of account comes in.
But hey, he says they will not recognize 0.005 Bitcoin, but you'll probably talk about Satoshis, people talk about mega sats. Hey, send me 5 mega sats, mega Satoshis, basically 5 million Satoshis. So I don't think that will be a problem.
I mean,
we'll just find new
that
ways.
is easy to rename.
Yeah.
I mean, if people find Satoshis to be difficult, then you can rename it to whatever you like. That's just a naming scheme.
Right. And maybe you have a special word that means like 1 million Satoshis. Yeah. And instead of saying Satoshis, like 1 million Satoshis, you say that, like mega sats or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. BitConnect Pumper. Let's see. Did I hear you? You mentioned BitConnect. I thought you had negative comment about Coinbase. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, we discussed the BitConnect yesterday. We talked that, hey, new bull markets means new scams. BitConnect 2.0 is coming to town.
I hope you're invested.
We don't know if it's a joke or not, but hey, it is a scam if they are serious. Absolutely, absolutely. And
I think one good comment is we could do this stream on Saturday sometime, because then people are not on work. Most people are not on work. True. So that we could do. But then you have to remember, we're not on work either. So we're off.
Exactly.
I'm just kidding. We work 7 days a week.
Yes.
So we could definitely do it on a Saturday.
Cool, guys.
Do you have any last final questions before we wrap this up?
Okay, we're checking the chat.
Yes,
this is your time to shine, guys. So go ahead.
Entertain us.
Now it's your time. Yeah. But all in all, hope you're having a great day. It was amazing being here with you once again. We're doing these streams once a week. So
once a month.
Once a month. Yes. Exclusive Academy streams. I hope you enjoyed the Academy. Also, we hope you really like it. And let us know which courses you want.
And we're working on a lot more coming to the Academy. We're working on things that is beyond courses. I mean, we're gonna have great things coming to the Academy. So make sure that you stay tuned to the news, that you tune into Discord, to the email list. It's gonna be great. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy, smash the like, smash the bell, and we'll see you next month on these exclusive streams. So have a great day, and goodbye, guys. Goodbye.